Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dave and Fraz Sports Talk Show for episode 14, excuse me. And I'm Davis Gregory, as always, with Aaron Frazier. And today we're going to be discussing the NFL free agency. Of course, the NCAA tournament's going on right now, but Andrew and Jay will have that update for us on the Sweet 16 and the upcoming Elite 8. But today, Aaron and I are going to be discussing one specific topic with the NFL free agency. As we all know, the Vikings signed quarterback Kirk Cousins to how much was the deal?
3-year, $84 million deal.
3-year, $84 million deal. And Kirk Cousins is now a Minnesota Viking. Most people thought he could have gone to the Broncos, but decided to go to Minnesota to team up with Stephon Diggs and that very nice offense. And the main question we're going to be focusing on this show is, are the Vikings now the favorite to win the NFC Championship and possibly a Super Bowl after signing Kirk Cousins?
Well, I mean, when you look at it, you look at the cap space that the Vikings had this year, they had the necessary cap space to go out and get him and pay him over $25 million a year, which can be a high risk, high reward type of scenario. Because, I always kind of think about Sam Bradford. Because this is the same deal with him. But, the Vikings, they have a solid defense, a lot of players in max contract situations. They did let go of Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, and Sam Bradford, as we were just talking about. So they did free up that necessary cap space. But I feel like this is their go for it all year. And if they fall short and they don't meet the expectations that they're wanting, I think it's going to be, you're going to run into cap space problems, especially on the defensive side of the ball when they have a very talented defense. But, and then you look at these other teams, as we're going to get ready to talk about, like the LA Rams. They had one of the most explosive turnarounds in an offense from 2016 to 2017 season. Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, they really turned it on. They did a great job throughout the season. Their defense is a bit lacking, but with the acquisition so far in free agency of Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters was huge, and Roby Coleman, which not a lot of people know about. He's a little undersized at 5'8", but he's a terrific cover corner in the slot scenario. So, this defense, they're going to build it up beautifully, and if they can keep up with their offense, they're the scariest team in the NFL. And
I just want to go back to what you said about Minnesota. Right now, they're that Super Bowl or bust team this season. It's exactly. 100%. We're going for the Super Bowl, and if we don't get it, then there are going to be some serious consequences for the Minnesota Vikings following that. Because as you said, Xavier Rhodes, great player, as well as Everson Griffin, that's going to have to come up in the next offseason. But right now, Minnesota just has one thing in mind, and that's bringing the Lombardi Trophy back to Minnesota, or to Minnesota for the first time. And also, another team that we can beat the Minnesota Vikings after getting Kirk Cousins is the New Orleans Saints. Now, New Orleans just kind of jumped onto the scene, last season. Atlanta won the NFC South, and Carolina and Tampa Bay kind of all tied up for that first spot, but Atlanta just did a fantastic job in the playoffs. But the Saints finally came back this year. Big pickup in the draft was Alvin Kamara from the University of Tennessee. And he's coming off one of the best seasons we've ever seen from a running back, being able to catch the ball, run the ball, very physical running back, very fast as well. And also pairing him with Mark Ingram, former Heisman winner. And it's just a very, very scary offense as well with Michael Thomas, which is one of the best receivers Drew Brees has ever had in his career. So, honestly, I think the Saints could make one really good push in the playoffs. One more really good push in the playoffs. But other than that, I think the Saints can compete with the Minnesota Vikings this year. Yeah.
And what I really like about the Saints for this upcoming season is their mix of the youth and the old. You have a very good mix.
Marshawn Lattimore on defense, as well as Cameron Jordan too. And that's the only thing that holds them back is their defense. But if that defense can improve over the offseason, I think the New Orleans Saints can really have a chance to beat the Vikings.
And I don't see anything that could stop them. And Drew Brees is always going to be Drew Brees, so he's going to fulfill those expectations. But our next question, our last one for this episode, will be on the Patriots and their future as an organization. They've made some very interesting offseason moves, letting Nate Solder, the terrific left tackle they've had for 10 years, go to the New York Giants, which I'm very excited about. And then, you lose Danny Amendola. I mean, arguably Brady's #1 target, going to...
At least from this season.
Yeah, for this season, going to Miami. Then you have Deion Lewis and Malcolm Butler.
Going to the Titans. That was big for the Titans. And Titans are in the Texans division, as well as Deshaun Watson coming back, too. So that's going to be big for the Titans.
Yeah, and I mean, Titans need it because I think they're getting very close to being that very good,
consistent playoff team.
Exactly.
So what you got for us? So, of course, as you mentioned, Nate Schulter to the Giants. And, of course, the other transactions that New England did lose on those players. And really, for me, I think after that Super Bowl loss, it's kind of clear to me I don't think that Tom Brady is ever going to get that ring for his thumb. He's never good. I don't think he's going to get that 6th ring. And I don't see it happening because after that Super Bowl where you have a backup quarterback get you, it just kind of had that feeling that this dynasty is now over, which some of us are very happy about, and I guess only Patriots fans are the only people that are sad about it. But I think right now, we can say that the Patriots dynasty is finally over.
And I will say it is early in free agency, and a lot of things can happen. I'm sure they've cleared up a lot of cap space with these moves. But it's going to be very interesting to see who Brady wants in this free agency. Especially, you lose your left tackle. I mean, they lost a lot of key positions. So I think it's just going to be interesting to me. Brady's getting up there in age. How he's going to control this new team that he has with the new players that he'll be getting.
And that's the thing. It felt like that was his last Super Bowl. At least to me, that felt like his last Super Bowl probably ever. And it was a great – he performed great. Other than the one time where he couldn't catch a football on that one down and lost him the game. But other than that, Tom Brady's just getting up there in age, as he said. I just think that the Patriots are, at least for now, done to go into the Super Bowl. But thank you for watching this episode of NFL Free Agency discussion here on Dave and Fraz, and we will see you in episode 15.
Welcome back to Dave and Fraz. I'm Andrew Cross with Jay Frazier, and today we're going to be giving you an overview of the NCAA tournament, which has reached the Sweet 16. Starting off, the headliner story was the University of Maryland Baltimore County Retrievers upsetting the #1 overall seed Virginia Cavaliers in the round of 64. They beat them 74-54 and outscored the best defensive team in the nation 53-33 in the second half. Virginia played bad defense. Jay, what did you think of that game?
Look, UMBC, they play outstanding defense. They caused so many turnovers, and I really think they just rattled Virginia. I don't think Virginia was expecting them to play that well at all. And Virginia just kind of it looked like they had a lack of effort on defense, and that'll just happen sometimes, and so that's what happened. A 16 seed beat a 1 seed this year.
Yeah, I know. They were also the #1 overall seed. And the South, Virginia was the #1 seed in the South as well. The South is not looking well. The 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 4 seed, and the 6 seed have all lost in the first weekend, which opened up the door for Kentucky to make it to the Final Four and possibly even more. They have to beat Kansas State coming up, and if they win that, they'll have to beat the winner of Nevada and Loyola Chicago to make it to the Final Four. Those are all pretty not good teams because Kentucky plays in the SEC with a bunch of good teams. I think Kentucky has a clear path to the Final Four. Do you?
Yes, I do too. I think that they have probably the easiest walk into the Final Four out of any team. Nevada, they're kind of a sleeper team. I think they're the only team that could beat them and stop them from making it to the Final Four.
Yeah, definitely. Purdue, a 2 seed in the East region, lost their center Isaac Haas to an elbow break against the 10 seed Butler. Haas was averaging 14 points and 1.3 blocks per game. And Purdue has to play Texas Tech, who's a 3 seed. That's the 2-3 matchup. How far do you think Purdue will go without their big center?
It really stinks whenever you see a team's best player go down with an injury, but Isaac Haas brings so much to the table for them, and I really think that they won't be able to beat Texas Tech without him.
Yeah, Texas Tech plays smothering defense. That'll be a good one. And really the theme of this tournament so far has been the upsets. Of course, the 16 over the 1, but also 1 seed Xavier lost. 2 seed Cincinnati blew a 20-point lead in Nevada. 3 seed Tennessee was upset by Loyola Chicago. University of North Carolina, they were a 2 seed. They got beat by 20 points by Texas A&M. 2 seed Michigan State lost to Syracuse, and 4 seed Arizona lost to Buffalo in the first round. Which one of those do you think is the best upset?
There's been so many great upsets this year. March Madness has really been living up to its name, but I think that Arizona losing to Buffalo was probably the biggest one. I don't think anyone expected a future number 1 pick in DeAndre Ayton to lose to a 13 seed, especially when it's Buffalo.
Yeah, they definitely shut down Ayton and Alonzo Trier for Arizona. And that's going to be all for this episode of Dave and Fraz. I'm Andrew Cross and Jay Frazier, and we'll see you next time.